Showtime! The Capital G Show starts right now.
What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Doing another discussion on a card coming out in Shadow Specters. You guys have probably heard about this from other YouTubers, but they are releasing a brand new Monarch, and I was just like shocked. I was like, what? They're still actually making those? Anyways, this one is a little bit different. The name of the card is Granmarg, the Hard Earth Monarch. It's a level 8. I know, like, that completely threw me off. I was looking for the card, I was looking for like level 6s, and that I was like, what? So it's level 8, 2800 attack, 1000 defense, earth attribute, rock type. The card effect is you can tribute summon this card by tributing one tribute summoned monster. When this card is tribute summoned, target up to 2 set cards on the field, destroy those targets. If this card was tribute summoned by tributing an earth attribute monster, apply this effect, draw 1 card. Okay, so this is a very interesting card. It's kind of a weird card in general. You know, I'll say this. I like the fact that it has the highest attack of all Monarchs to date. You know, it being 2800 is really good because you can get over things like Ophion, Master Hyperion, Grapha, you know, things of that sort, Big Eye. Unfortunately, I don't really think that there's anything else that's really that great about this card. The problem is, if you use 2 tributes to summon this guy, I personally think if you're playing a deck like Monarchs, you're much better off summoning something that's going to pay you the advantage back, whether that be something like Light and Darkness Dragon, where if you're playing against a deck, you know, like Fire Fist, it can eat up a bunch of their cards and then potentially summon a monster back upon dying. Or you can get something like Archlord Christia, which is just going to be I mean, outside of a couple of out your opponent's going to have pretty much game against a deck like Mermill or Elemental Dragons, you know, very similar to Vanity's Fiend. Now, I think that, you know, they tried to give it a powerful effect, but, you know, they still kind of attached it to Granmarg to where you're only going to be able to destroy set cards. The problem is setting monsters in this format is just something that is not viable. It's one of the reasons why, you know, I kind of ditch Gravekeepers, because setting monsters, it's just not, it's not feasible right now because the game is so absurdly fast that, you know, either your monster's just going to get popped by a marksman or a Draco Sack, or you're basically just waving a green flag for your opponent to, you know, Big Eye. And without there being things like Sangan, I mean, when you set a monster this format, your opponent knows that it's probably something vital because we don't really have floaters. Now, I also think that in a format that is absolutely littered with, you know, things like Fiendish Chain, Breakthrough Skill, Effect Veiler, it's pretty hard to get Monarch effects off as it is. But let's say that you're happening to go for, you know, back row. Obviously, if you're not going to target set monsters because nobody's setting monsters, then your only other option is to try and pick apart back row. You know, if your opponent doesn't have those answers, then, I mean, chances are your opponent's going to have at least one chainable back row if you target 2 cards, whether that be a Compose or a Book of Moon. So I don't really see this card being one of those devastating effects. I'm not going to lie, the whole you draw a card if you tribute an Earth monster seems completely out of place and just random. I can't envision any possible situation where you're ever going to resolve this effect, and it seems like Konami kind of gave us a really shitty present and then was like, well, it's the thought that counts. Like, you know, I guess it's an effect where it's like, okay, it's just extra, it's icing on the cake, so I can't really complain about it. I just don't ever see that happening. I mean, how many Earth tributes have we played in the last like 5 years? I can't really think of any. You know, Granmarg was pretty much the shittiest Monarch ever. So I don't understand why they would make this card have an effect that is semi-reliant on it. You know, I like the idea of Monarch support. I just hate the execution. You know, quite frankly, Konami should be trying to make us forget that Granmarg ever existed, not making more cards like it, because Granmarg was by far the worst Monarch ever. So, you know, I will say this, I like the idea of Monarchs getting new cards. I just don't think that this is one of those cards that in the long run is going to benefit them, because there are just better options. I mean, they tried to make this card like half Mobius, half Granmarg. It's just that anything related to Granmarg is destined for failure. So thank you guys as always for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up. I was going to post this yesterday, but I decided to take the day off as yesterday was my birthday. Much like Greg Popovich decided to take the day off yesterday from coaching. I mean, oh my God, talk about choking. Hail to the king, Heat and 7. Take care, guys. Subscribing makes life happy.